Hi everyone, my name is Kayla. I have a Bachelor of Health Science Naturopathy and I'm a naturopath at Kayla the Nurturing Naturopath. Welcome to my podcast Awareness, and today I have Mary from Days for Girls Australia joining me. Hi Mary, how are you today?
Good, thanks, Kayla. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's such a pleasure, and thank you for asking me to join so that your listeners can find out a bit more about Days for Girls Australia.
No worries, thank you so much. Could you please tell us what exactly is Days for Girls Australia?
Okay, so Days for Girls Australia is an Australian registered charity, and we're part of an international movement. We work under a licensing agreement with Days for Girls International. And what we do is we make washable menstrual pads for girls and women and people who menstruate who don't have access to purchasing commercial products or and we also provide menstrual health education and advocacy for period poverty.
That's amazing. Yeah, because I think a lot of us, just sort of take it for granted that we can go to the store and buy, period products.
We do. And sometimes we think that period poverty only happens in third world countries. But here in Australia, there's over 1 million people living with period poverty. So we not only help overseas and developing nations, but we also help right here in our own backyard in Australia.
Oh, that's amazing. And what is your mission?
So our mission is to eliminate the stigma and limitations associated with menstruation through education, access to sustainable period products, and community-led advocacy, because we believe that everyone who menstruates deserves to live with dignity, health, and opportunity, no matter where they live.
Well said, that's beautiful. When you were saying you operate in Australia and around the world, are there particular countries or areas?
Yeah, so Days for Girls has a network of 82 teams right around Australia. So we have teams in every state and territory. And then Days for Girls International operates. We have teams in New Zealand, Canada, the US, UK, Europe. I also help look after the teams in some Pacific Island nations. We have teams in Fiji, Solomon Islands, Papua New Guinea, Timor-Leste, West Timor. And then Days for Girls International operate enterprises um, that run as small businesses in Africa, South America, and some Asian nations.
Wow, that's amazing.
So I think there's about 500
Oh,
Days for
wow.
Girls teams or enterprises around the world.
That's so cool. And why periods?
Because periods are a natural part of being a healthy woman. However, there are over 500 million girls and women living around the world who face challenges every day because of their periods. You know, they face stigma, they face isolation, they can face health issues because they don't have what they need to support themselves while they're having their period. They don't have access to period products. That means that they can participate in everyday activities, such as going to school, such as going to work, such as socializing. And there's many taboos and stigmas around the world in regards to periods that women and girls need to uh, are dirty when they've got their periods, and that's just not the case.
Yeah,
As I said earlier, it's a natural part of being a healthy woman, and we
mm,
need to educate people on that.
so true. I agree 100%. And what is Days for Girls pads?
Okay, so Days for Girls has a unique washable pad system. We have our pad system is made up of two components. One is our shield, and that looks like, when you're holding it up, it looks like a modest pad with wings. And it's made out of two layers of 100% cotton, so there's less risk of an irritation when using the pad. And in between those two layers is a waterproof barrier, a polyurethane laminate. And then that shield has pockets at each end. And then the next and most important part of our pad system is what we call our liner. And that liner again is made up of 100% cotton flannelette, so it's absorbed, and it has two layers. And when it folds up, that it folds into three and slips into the shield. That gives 6 layers of absorbency. But what's unique about our pad system is the girls or women can layer 2 to 3 of these liners, giving, up to 18 layers of absorbency. And because the liner opens up flat, there's less water needed for washing and they dry quicker. Whereas some of your commercial washable pads and washable undies, if you're using it for a heavy flow, they can be quite thick. So they need a lot of washing, a lot of water to rinse them out to make sure there's no menstrual flow left in them.
Yeah.
And also, they take a lot longer to dry because they're so thick. And if they're not dried properly, if the menstrual flow isn't rinsed out properly and cleaned properly, then there's risk of bacteria growing. So our pads are quite unique. Our pad system is quite unique in that way.
That's really cool. What ways can people give you guys?
Well, people can make a one-time donation or a monthly donation to us. They can sponsor a distribution project or kits for domestic use. They can provide in-kind support, such as providing us with gift cards for buying materials to make the kits. One thing I didn't mention earlier is Days for Girls Australia is 100% voluntary. And so every one of us is a volunteer, and every team has to fundraise to buy the material to make the kits that we donate to people. We don't sell them, we donate our kits. They can also partner with us through their businesses. We run workshops in organizations that people can learn about period poverty. They can learn about what we do and they can help us pack kits. So we run corporate workshops. We also run workshops for schools. And of course, people can leave us a gift in their will or make an end of year donation to us. And all donations to us are tax deductible.
Amazing, beautiful. And are there other ways that people can get involved? You said like the volunteering and
Certainly. As I said, we have 82 teams around Australia. So, and you don't need to be a sewer to join our teams. We have lots of non-sewing teams, so people can volunteer with a local team to support our sewing the kits. They can become an advocate for our period poverty and do our we have a free online ambassador of women's health training that teaches them how to deliver menstrual health education. They can host a fundraiser or an awareness event. We're always looking for volunteers to help us with administrations or logistics. And they can apply their professional skills in areas like governance, marketing, training, finance. So there's many ways they can get involved. And if they're a sewer, that's great. If they're not a sewer, we can always find something for them to do.
Oh, amazing. So lots of ways to help and donate, which is really important because, like you said, you're all volunteers and you give the products away for free. So,
Yes, yes. Our teams do an amazing thing. Last financial year, we made over um, 40,000 kits,
wow.
and over nearly 7,000 of those kits were distributed in Australia. The other kits were distributed mainly in our Pacific Island nations, and we do a big project with World Vision. We support refugees over in Africa. Um, so our kits cost around about $25 to make, and they'll last a girl, a woman, depending on how well they look after them, 3 to 5 years. So that's that's incredible. So
Yeah, you're all doing an amazing job. That's amazing. Is there anything you want to recap or talk about that we haven't spoken about yet?
I just think that we need one of the things that's really important about breaking the stigma around menstruation is having open conversations, not just with our daughters and granddaughters and girlfriends and you but we also need to make sure we educate our sons and the boys and men in our families on menstruation so they understand that it's a natural part of being a healthy woman. And there are many single dads out there with daughters, and they need to understand what menstruation is. And some of our teams will run workshops for single dads so that as their children, their daughters are getting up into um, the age of starting their periods, the dads have an understanding of what's going on. And I think that's really important. And we need to treat periods not as a taboo, but as an open conversation. And also to recognize that period poverty is here in Australia as well. There's over 1 million girls and women living with period poverty. And, it's really difficult for someone, for a mother, or even a single dad, to have to choose between buying food or buying period products.
Yeah.
We have an instance where we were supporting a food bank, and one of their clients came in, was a single dad of 3 children, 3 daughters, and he was struggling to get his younger daughter to school because the previous month she'd soiled her dress when she
Oh,
had a period, and she was teased, so she didn't want to go to school. And
yeah.
he was given a kit for each of his daughters. And the following time he came back in, he said to the people, I really felt like I was failing as a father when I
Yeah.
had to choose between buying bread and milk for my girls for their breakfast and lunch, and then I had nothing left for their girls' things that they needed. And that's heartbreaking to hear.
Yes.
But that was here in Australia.
I know, so sad.
Mm.
Well, you guys
So
are doing an
but
amazing
we
job.
know we know that every kit we get into the hands of a girl can make a difference. So, you
Yeah.
know, what a cup of coffee in Melbourne costs about $6 now. So for 4 cups of coffee, giving up 1 cup of coffee a day or one a week, that can provide a girl with a kit that
Yeah.
will last 3 to 5 years. That's not
Yeah.
much to ask of everyone.
No. Yeah, that's really important. And yeah, that's a way that people can look at it and hopefully help and do something for you guys. Definitely.
Yeah. And we do what we do. We have over 1,500 volunteers around Australia. And we do what we do because it's not often you can actually say, I'm really making a difference in the world. But we know every kit we get into the hands of a girl or woman really is changing them.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. And for further information, should people go to your website and your Facebook page?
Yes, so our website will be is Days for Girls Australia.org, and our website, our Facebook pages, if you search Days for Girls Australia, and we have Instagram and LinkedIn as well.
Oh, amazing. So good. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and making us more aware about Days for Girls Australia. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kayla. Thank you for asking, and I just want to thank all your listeners for listening to this. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Have a great day and bye bye.